What's up, YouTube? I wanted to talk today about one of my favorite guns in my collection. I'm just going to specifically stick with this one. It is the Sig Sauer P220R. R standing for rail, which you see here, which pretty much you can attach lights, lasers, or a combination of either of those to the underside of the frame here, and give you another advantage to illuminate a potential threat in the event of a home invasion or different other types of scenarios. But anyways, the original gun didn't have the light rail, so the 22R is more of a modern Sig. It's not like they say made in West Germany. This one is Exeter, New Hampshire, so it's an American-made gun. German and Swiss designed. So you got Sig and Sauer, German and Swiss, two guys, with those names that comes up with the Sig Sauer name for the brand, and one's German, one's Swiss. So they came up with this awesome gun in the 80s to compete in the trials that where the Army was looking to replace it. It's 1911. It was getting long in the tooth. It was an older gun, been around a while, had some rattles and battles behind it. So they wanted to get a new gun. So Sig Sauer comes up with the P220 in 45 ACP because they thought that that's what the U.S. military wanted. Actually, the military was already kind of leaning towards going with the NATO round, which was the 9mm. So, but this gun had already been designed and built. So what they do, they scrambled. They kept the same frame that you see here, the same basic design, and they just changed the caliber. So they got a different barrel, different magazine, and it came up with the Sig P226, which they entered into the trials. This one never entered the trials because it's 45 ACP. They weren't testing for 45. So the lineage of the P226 9mm is really based upon this P220 design. It's the same frame size, basically the same gun in a different caliber. Now you look over here and you have your two stainless steel mags that came with the gun when I bought it. I've had this gun for about 4.5 years. It's not flawless. The reason I say that because nothing is flawless that's mechanical or man-made. It doesn't mean that it's given me any problems, because it hasn't. I haven't had any issues, no misfires, no jams, none of that. But people say it's flawless. Well, so far it has been for me, and so far these magazines have been for me. But again, it's mechanical, and it could be a maintenance. It could be anything that one day will not work, or sometimes it might jam or something. But it could be sand, it could be lack of proper care, it could be limp wristing. There's a lot of factors. It could be the weather, snows, whatever, salt water. Main thing is nothing is flawless. It's just it hasn't broken down yet. Now, anyways, back to the nomenclature and the basic characteristics of this gun. It is a 45 ACP. It shoots, hollow points, ball ammo, everything that I've put through it, it shoots. It came with these two mags again. They are Italian made. It says they're proprietary to Sig. So it's a Sig Sauer P220. But then you look over here and it says made in Italy. So I do believe Metgar makes these, but I can't verify that because their logo or their brand is not anywhere listed on this on these magazines. It just says made in Italy. This one was made in Exeter, New Hampshire, which it says somewhere on the frame. That's it says Sig 220. There. Exeter, New Hampshire, USA. 45 ACP Sig. And that's the gun. There's a roll pin you see there for the firing block that's inside. Very simple controls. This is the takedown lever. That is the decocking lever, which I will demonstrate. If you cock the gun, you decock it. Cock the gun, decock it. Real simple. It's the only way to decock. You don't want to do one of these numbers. It's not safe. Do it this way. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Per Sig, per the manual. And it's safer that way. There is a firing block inside that helps. So if you hit the hammer, it's not going to fire. Plastic grips, basic. They're not sticky, tacky, or anything, so I do plan on replacing them. I don't have a problem with them. They fit my hand well. I have large hands as hands go. You know, if I were to buy a set of gloves, they would be size large. I'm not saying I have big meat hooks, I just wear large gloves. So that's the gun. There's the rail. You can see the wear marks on there. I've had it for 4.5 years. It's not a safe queen. I do shoot it. Taking it out of holsters, you can see the little wear marks. It's cool. But the finish is held up very well. I'm not worried about the finish. I train with it. It's a self-defense gun. It's a home defense gun. It's a duty gun. All those things. These mags hold 8+1, as you can see there. And it came with these two. I do want to buy a couple more, but they are expensive. I've seen them as much as 40 bucks. I'm trying to find them cheaper than that if I'm going to buy a couple more. I would like to buy at least 3 more to have 5 of these stainless steel on deck. Maybe a couple of 10-rounders, but like again, they're pretty expensive. So no rush. I got 2 right here, and I like the gun a lot. It's a great gun. Let me see if I can stand by. If you give me a second, I will show you a couple of things with this gun. Okay, now there is the gun locked open, and for the safety salvage, you can see there's no round in there and all that good stuff. It is a safe gun. That is the extractor right there, and it is an external extractor, which the original model did not have. It had an internal one like the 1911. There's the firing pin. There is the firing pin block, which is that little circle right there. In the 1911, that would be called the Series 80, which the firing pin block. And it is just a great gun. Shoots well. It's accurate. It weighs less than 40 ounces. I think it's about 34 ounces. What makes it lighter is the aluminum alloy frame. But then you got the top, which is the slide. That's forged steel. It's not even carbon steel. It's forged, hammer forged stainless steel, and it's just got that coating, that anodized finished, nice finish. It's like a nitron finish or something, and the internals are also coated. You can see the barrel's coated with a similar finish or something like it, and it is resistant to wear. It is resistant to corrosion. Similar to what the SEALs wanted. They had phosphate coating on all their internal parts when they had the SIG 226. So again, the history behind it, designed in the 80s to compete with the trials for the new sidearm of the U.S. military at Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland. And it was a 45, so they said, no, we want a 9mm, so they had to put the 226. The 226 is the same frame size, same basic gun, just different caliber. The Beretta went in there, the SIG went in there. They both won. They both basically passed. The Army went with Beretta versus SIG. But as you know, in the world of the military, the special ops units, the SEALs carried the SIG 226 for a long time, so they were able to get what they wanted eventually. They wanted the SIG, they got it. The U.S. military carried the M9, which is nothing wrong with that. I shot it when I was in the Marines. I carried it for several years. I qualified with it on the range expert. Nothing wrong with it. Great gun. I like it a lot. But I'm a private citizen now. I'm no longer in the Marine Corps. I'm always once a Marine, always a Marine. I'm always going to be in the Marines. I'm just wearing a different uniform. It's a civilian uniform, but I'm always going to be a Marine. I prefer 45 ACP. This is a 230 grain ball. Real standard, basic stuff. And just basically wanted to talk about how cool the SIG P220R is, and I like it a lot. I recommend it. It is what I call like a man's gun, but my wife shot it, and she didn't really like it because of the recoil, but she had fun. But she wouldn't want to carry this. That she wants like the Glock 26 or something like that, which is fine, and I'm going to get her one of those. But I prefer this. It's just a big, beefy, manly gun. I like the decocker a lot. That is a great feature. And so trigger pull, let's talk about that. 10 pounds when it's in double action like that. And then like this, there's some slop or take up. As you see there, I call it take up, where you get to the predictable wall. And when you get to that predictable wall, then it's about a 4.5 trigger pull. Decock. And that's the gun, man. That is the Sig P220R. Great gun. About $1,000. When I got it, I've had it for 4.5 years. I bought it. It was $980 plus tax and dross. It came to about $1,040. So there it is. It came with 2 stainless steel mags, which I think it should have came with 3, especially as expensive as they are and as expensive as this gun is. It would have been cool if Sig had put out 3 of these 8-round mags instead of just 2. But whatever, you can't have everything the way you want it. So I'm still happy with the gun. It's a great gun, great shooter. And that is pretty much it. Oh, Sig Light Night Sights. That's what it came with. There they are. They're tritium infused. They're tritium filled, I guess. And they are proprietary to Sig. They're not aftermarket like, you know, Trigicons or the, what are the other ones that everybody likes? You know, the Big Dot, whatever, and all these other ones. But they are tritium, and they are expected to glow for 12 years. And I'm thinking that the gun is lifetime warranty. Maybe those sights are also warranty to be replaceable if they stop glowing. So, anyways, that's the gun. It is not too heavy, and